Hello, we're back. How are you doing? And today is going to be a jam-packed video because we're going to be covering a whole bunch of functions that you should know about. Now, these are all pre-built functions that are part of Roblox, and we've used some of them all already, but hopefully by the end of this video you'll be familiar with all of them and you can start using them in your projects. So these are common across all objects within Roblox. These are known as instances. So a part is an object, and if I add in a part, then I've created an instance of that part. So I can have multiple instances of that one part. I hope that makes sense. Now, I just added those parts in manually through the studio environment. But if I want to add parts in during the game, I can do this from a script as well. So to do this, and this is the first function we'll be looking at, I type Instance.new, and this is a little function here, so I have two brackets, and after I type the first bracket, you can see this little suggestion box has come up, and what I need to type is the object I want to add to the game. So I'll type part, and as I'm typing, you can see it's being auto-suggested, so I can just press enter and it'll auto-complete for me. But if you haven't got that auto-complete box, you do need to make sure that you surround it in double quotes. And so it's in green like that. And then we add a comma, and then you type the parent for this object we've just created. So in this case, we're just going to put it in workspace. We're not too bothered for now. So we just type workspace, and because that's a keyword, it's highlighted in blue. And then we need to close off this function, so we add another bracket. It's all surrounded in brackets now. That looks good to go. Run that, and we now see, yep, a little part has appeared in the center of the map that wasn't there before. So we've just added that via the script. One thing to know about this, if you do want to change any of the properties to this, it's important that you make it a variable first so you can access it. So I'd say part equals instance.new part, and then I could say part.reflectance equals 1, for example. And then if I ran that, now I've got this weird reflective part. And you could create not just parts, we could create, how about fire? We could say fire equals instance.new, and then I'd type fire, and this time its parent would be workspace.part. Well, actually no, it'd just be part. We don't need to say workspace.part. We can just say part and refer to this object we've also just created, and end that there. Run the game, and now you can see we've got this fire coming out of the reflective part. That looks pretty cool. Okay, cool. So next function is clone. This allows you to duplicate parts. Now, we probably wouldn't do this from the script if we've just created a part, because we could always just create another one. But we might do this if we've already created one before and we want to go ahead and clone it. So let's say I have this beautiful red column here, and I'm going to go into the script and I'll say workspace.part : and you can see all the functions that are available here, and these are all the functions we're looking at, all the default ones that are available. So in this case I want clone, and that's going to clone the part, but it's not assigned a parent. So in order to do that, we need to make sure this is inside a variable so we can access it. Clone equals workspace dot, sorry, did I say parent? I meant workspace.part clone, and then we can say clone.parent. So this is the copy that we're creating of that red column we just made, and we're going to put that in the workspace as well. And then how about we change the color of this clone? So we could say clone.brick color equals brick color.new, and this is a function as well. So brickColor.new, and then we could say, let's make it brick yellow, and we run that. We've got a red part, and just behind it a yellowish part that we've just created. Okay, and that's its clone. But what about if we got fed up with this red block? Well, how about we remove it from the game? Now we could just press delete inside Studio and that would work. But again, if the game is running, then we can't do that. So if we wanted to do this from the game, we would say workspace dot part colon, so we're selecting a function. And if we go through all of these, destroy, that sounds like it might do the job. Select destroy, run the game, and it's disappeared. That did the job there, got rid of it. Perfect. Okay, that's the basic, some of the basic part ones covered. But what about if we're dealing with models, for example? So I'll create a few parts here, and we'll have this lovely little columns and a little roof along the top. Isn't this beautiful? We'll change it to a brick one as well, just so we can have this beautiful effect. And then we'll create that as a model. And then in the script, I'm going to say workspace, and instead of part this time, it's dot model. And then we could say something like get children. Now, what are the children of the model? Well, if we click this little arrow, we can see it's these 4 parts. Now, the interesting thing about GetChildren is that this actually returns a table of information. So I need to store this in a variable as well. I will say model equals workspace.model GetChildren. And then if I print out model, you can see I get the hex code for the table. And if I wanted to see all the objects in there, I would need to use a loop. So I would probably use I'll use a for loop for this example. For I equals 1, comma, hashtag model, that's the amount of entries within the table that we'll be getting, do, and then we could print out model square bracket, selecting which one we wanted from the table, and I would just type I, so we can get it as we go around the loop. If we run that, we can see we've got part times 4 because they're all called part. But if I changed that one to column and that one to roof, say, and I ran it again, we can see we've got roof, column, part. So that is GetChildren, sorry. Another one you may want to use, colon, is FindFirstChild. Now this one will return the first instance it finds of this name. So if I put part, and then I'll change it from model to part, and then I'll say part dot reflectance equals 1, and we'll get rid of this for loop for now. And if I run the game, has that done anything? Oh, okay, it's because they're bricks. Okay, I'll need to change it back to plastic for now. You'll see it's made this part over here, it's made reflective, but this part over here, it hasn't done. That's because it finds the first child only, so it ignores the ones after that point. So generally when you're using FindFirstChild, you only want one instance with that name. So if I just wanted roof, and ran that, oh sorry, the bricks again, let's change that, and run that, then I would only get the roof. And if I wanted to do it for all the children called part, well then I would have to go back to my loop, and I'd probably say something like if hashtag model, sorry, if model bracket I dot name equals part, then, and we copy and paste that, if then model I dot reflectance equals 1, model user data value, oh okay, we need to get children, yeah, sorry, get children, use GetChildren function and run that. Then we can get both of these parts to turn reflectant. But if we using the FindFirstChild one, they'll only find the first child with that name, and then the script will stop. Similarly to FindFirstChild, there's also FindFirstAncestor you may have come across. FindFirstAncestor. Now this goes multiple levels. So the children of model are roof column part. But if we grouped, if we put this part here inside another part, inside a model, sorry, so we have a model, we're inside a model, and then a part inside that. If I then print out the amount of children of model, you'll notice, so print workspace dot model get children. So I don't want to print this out, I want that as a variable, and then if I print out hashtag model, what we should get is we get 4 entries. But if I copy and pasted or duplicated a few elements inside this other model that's within this, and I run it again, you'll notice the number is still 4. Well, that's because these are ancestors rather than being direct children of the model. So if I go back and I say colon get is ancestors a model, get descendants, sorry, and I call GetDescendants, and I print that out again, then this time I've got 9, so there's 9 descendants. So therefore FindFirstAncestor would just look for multiple levels deep rather than just the first level and just find the immediate children. It would also go into other models and find the children of them. Okay, so that's getting children, looking for children. Similarly, there is okay, so how about, actually I don't know why I deleted that. How about we look at another one? We say instead of get descendants, how about what ones have we got down here that are interesting? Okay, so you've got is ancestor of, is descendant of, is a. That's quite a useful one. It allows you to check what the model or part is. So if we get the children again and we save them to this model table and we loop through them all again for I equals 1 hashtag model do, and then this time we can say if the thing that's in the table colon is a, and we can say if it's a part, then let's make the part red, for example, or we'll make it, oh it's already red, so we need to make it blue, won't we? Hashtag model, what am I on about? No, I need model bracket I, square bracket I, and then model square bracket I dot brick color equals brick color dot blue. Okay, and I run that, then these are being made red because they're the children. These ones are descendants, so they're not direct children, they weren't made red. And of course all of these are parts. But what about if I added in some new objects here? Let's say I had a wedge part in here and a let's have a humanoid in there. And then if I try to run my script, if I take out the if statement, I'll just cut that for now and I run it again, you'll see I've actually got an error because it says brick color is not a valid member of humanoid. So the way that you get around this error is you would have this check and you would check if it's a part first and then you'll make it blue. So we check, and of course this time we haven't got any errors because there is no it's not even looking to check if the humanoid has a brick color because it just skips it and onto the part. And it's the same with this wedge. Although this wedge does have a brick color property, it's not a part either, so it's not going to attempt to change the color of that. Now, one last function we will look at is known as WaitForChild. Now, this is best to explain with a local script, I think. So let's add a... Oh, let's stop the game first. Yeah, we stop the game, delete this script, and go to Starter GUI, and we're going to add in a local script in there. And if we run that, are we going to get an error this time? Yes, okay, that's what I was wanting to happen the first time. But, so we've got this error now. Head is not a valid member of model. But if we go into workspace and we find my player's character, GnomeCode, and we can see that head is quite clearly a valid member of model. So why is this happening? Well, the reason for it is that the character model takes a while to load in, and scripts will generally load before all the objects have loaded. So we need to wait for it to happen. So we'll save this player variable, and then we'll create a new variable, and we'll call it head. And that will be equal to player dot character colon wait for child, and then we'll say head. And then after that line we can say head dot let's change to reflectance equals 1. Let's run that. It's going to wait for the head to load, and of course it's loaded, and then we've got this weird blue reflective head. Okay, hopefully that's not been too quick. Hopefully that's made some sense. I think I've talked long enough. Hopefully you can piece together what we covered in this video. I don't like to spoon feed you guys code too much. I'd rather just blast off some information and then you take that away and make of it what you will. So hopefully that helped. If not, as always, comment down below. Thank you for watching. See you next time.